Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are going to completely dismantle a concept that you have probably held on to since kindergarten.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those things that feels so intuitive, so, culturally ingrained that you never really question it. I'm talking about Mother Earth.
Right. The flower crowns, the gentle breeze, all their recycling campaigns.
Exactly. When we think of Gaia or Mother Nature, we picture this, this benevolent, passive, hippie-style figure who just wants everyone to hold hands.
Sing some songs, stop using plastic straws, yeah.
She's the ultimate nurturer.
It is a lovely image, it's comforting, but if you actually look at the source material we've pulled for this deep dive, and we are talking the foundational texts, right? Hesiod's Theogony, the records from the Theoi Project.
And some very sharp modern analysis.
Yes, the stuff that frames mythology through a political lens, that image isn't just slightly off. I mean, it is completely wrong.
We are not looking at a hippie mom today.
Yeah.
We're looking at a ruthless political mastermind. One of the sources we're unpacking explicitly calls Gaia a deep state operator.
And it sounds like a wild conspiracy theory until you actually look at her track record. If you treat Mount Olympus like a government, Gaia isn't the figurehead kissing babies.
No.
She is the intelligence agency working in the shadows. She is the architect of every single major coup in the history of Greek mythology.
And that is our mission for this deep dive. We're going to track Gaia's career, not just as a mother, but as a regime-toppler.
Right.
We're going to look at the architecture of treason. We're going to see how she views the gods. Even Zeus, not his beloved family, but as temporary parts of a machine that she installs and uninstalls at will.
She treats them like software, and she's the hardware.
I love that analogy, and we are definitely going to get to that. But first, we have to start at the absolute beginning, the origin story.
Of course.
Because even her birth is, it's efficient.
It is. So in the beginning, according to Hesiod, there's chaos the void, and then essentially out of nowhere, Gaia just emerges.
She just appeared.
She appears, described as the ever-sure foundation. And what's fascinating is she's autogenerative. She doesn't need a partner to start the production line. She births Uranus the sky specifically to cover her on every side.
Which sounds romantic at first glance, she made the sky to hug her. But that's pretty much the first and last nice thing that happens in this relationship.
Pretty much. She creates her own husband, they mate, and the production line starts. But this isn't a happy family portrait. This is where we see the first tyrant emerge in the mythological record.
Then Uranus looks at his offspring and he hates them.
He hates them. And this is a key point in the sources that I think gets glossed over. He doesn't hate them because they're evil.
No, it's all about aesthetics.
Exactly. He is a perfectionist tyrant. They have the Titans, who are, arguably beautiful, statuesque, powerful. But then they have the Hecatoncheires, the 100-handed ones.
Or the Cyclops.
And the Cyclops. Uranus looks at them and sees monsters. Imperfection, and he is disgusted.
And this leads to the part of the myth that is just, honestly, it's the stuff of nightmares. He doesn't just send them to their room.
No, not at all.
He doesn't banish them to an island.
No. The texts say he hides them away in a secret place of Gaia. He pushes them back inside the earth, literally back into her womb.
I want us to really sit with the physical reality of that. The source material emphasizes that Gaia groaned within, being straightened.
She is in immense physical pain. I mean, imagine that. She is the earth, and she is being bloated and stretched and tortured because her husband is using her body as a prison for the children he finds ugly.
She is suffering.
Immensely.
And this is the moment the Mother Nature mask just falls off and Gaia the politician is born. A passive mother would weep, she'd beg.
But Gaia,
she invents technology.
This is one of my favorite details. She creates gray flint, or adamant.
So she doesn't just, find a sharp rock.
No, she engineers a new material. She creates the element of flint specifically to manufacture a weapon. She shapes a great sickle with jagged teeth.
This is the first weapon in existence.
She brings the concept of armed conflict into the universe.
It's an arms race of one. She creates the tool, and then she holds a secret family meeting with the Titan children, the ones Uranus allowed to stay out because they were pretty.
Right.
She shows them this jagged blade and asks for a volunteer to, assassinate the king.
And the room goes quiet. You have to understand the power dynamic here. Uranus is the sky. He is literally everything above them.
He's the dome of a world.
The idea of attacking him is just inconceivable. They are seized with fear.
Except for one,
Cronus,
the wily youngest Titan. He steps up.
He takes the contract.
So Gaia becomes the tactical commander. She sets the trap. She hides Cronus in an ambush position, hands him the sickle, and gives him the specific operational plan.
She knows his schedule.
She knows he'll come down to lie with Earth and bring the night with him.
And when he does, the trap springs. Cronus strikes. It's the castration of Uranus. It's brutal, it's sudden, and it's effective.
But here's where it gets really interesting for me. The aftermath. Uranus is wounded, bleeding out. Most people would see that blood as, waste.
Or just a gruesome byproduct.
But Gaia sees resources.
She wastes nothing. The drops of blood hit the Earth, hit her, and she immediately uses them to spawn new life.
And look at what she spawns. She doesn't make bunnies and flowers to celebrate.
No, she spawns the Erinyes, the Furies. These are the literal spirits of vengeance and retribution.
Okay, so that's first.
Then she spawns the giants, the gigantes, who are born in gleaming armor holding spears, and the Meliae, the ash tree nymphs, who are associated with the hardwood used for spears.
She basically takes the trauma of the coup and manufactures a police force and an army.
It's industrial efficiency. Even in the middle of a violent revolution, she's thinking about the next phase of resource allocation.
She's securing her borders. Uranus is out. Cronus is in.
Mission accomplished. The deep state has successfully installed a new administration.
But, as history teaches us, the revolutionary often becomes the tyrant.
And Cronus is definitely his father's son. He becomes the second tyrant. He hears a prophecy.
Which probably came from Gaia herself, by the way.
Oh, almost certainly. The prophecy says he'll be overthrown by his own child. So he decides to preemptively solve that problem.
By becoming a cannibal.
It's a containment strategy. He isn't killing them, technically. He's imprisoning them in his stomach.
Just like his father did.
Exactly. It's the same crime, different jail cell.
And what's fascinating is Gaia's reaction here. She doesn't stop him immediately. She watches. She lets him swallow Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, Poseidon.
She's analyzing the data. She's waiting for the right asset to leverage. She knows Cronus is flawed, but she needs a viable candidate to replace him.
Which brings us to Rhea. Rhea is Cronus' wife, and she is desperate. She finally goes to Gaia, her mother, and asks for a consulting session.
She basically asks, how do I save this one?
And Gaia steps back into the role of kingmaker, the famous swap the baby for a rock trick.
Yeah.
That wasn't Rhea's idea. The sources are clear. That was Gaia's plan.
She advised Rhea to hide Zeus in a cave in Crete and wrap a stone in swaddling clothes to feed to Cronus. She ran a counterintelligence op to smuggle the protagonist out of the war zone.
She saved the main character.
Right.
But she didn't just babysit him.
No, she raised him to be the weapon she needed. And when Zeus grows up and starts the war, the Titanomachy Gaia is the one pulling the strings.
Let's talk about that war. Because in the movies, Zeus just shows up and blasts everyone. But the sources say it was a stalemate.
For 10 years, the Olympians are fighting the Titans, and neither side can break the line. Zeus has the strength, but he doesn't have the strategy. He can't win on his own.
So he goes to Grandma.
He goes to the source. And Gaia gives him the winning move. She tells him, you will never win unless you release the prisoners in Tartarus.
The uncles. The Cyclops and the 100-handed ones.
The ones Uranus locked up and Cronus just left to rot.
That was a fatal political error.
Absolutely. He didn't liberate the oppressed. He just became the new oppressor. Gaia never forgot them, and she leverages Zeus to break them out.
This changes the entire technological landscape of the war.
It really does, because the Cyclops aren't just big guys. They're smiths. They are engineers.
They're the arms manufacturers.
Yes. When Zeus releases them, they don't just say thanks. They gift him the top-tier hardware, as our notes call it. They forge the thunder and the lightning bolts.
I think we take the lightning bolt for granted because we see it in every cartoon. But in the context of the myth, this is a weapon of mass destruction.
It is nuclear capability. Before this, that power didn't exist in the Olympian arsenal. Gaia unlocked the armory. She armed the new administration with superior firepower.
So the 100-handed ones rain down rocks, the Cyclops provide air support with lightning, and the Titans are defeated.
Zeus wins.
And Gaia has successfully orchestrated her second major coup. She is 2 for 2.
You'd think this is the happy ending, right? The good guys won.
But this is where the narrative shifts. This is the great betrayal. Because Zeus, well, he starts acting like a king.
He starts acting like a dictator. He takes the defeated Titans, who, we have to remember, are Gaia's children.
They're his aunts and uncles.
Exactly. And he casts them into Tartarus. He imprisons them in the pit.
And to Gaia, this must have looked exactly like what Uranus did. It's the same pattern. I don't like these family members, so into the hole they go.
Precisely. Gaia realized that this Olympian system she helped build was flawed. Zeus was just another managed hero who went rogue. He wasn't bringing justice, he was just consolidating power.
So she decides it's time for another regime change.
The software is buggy, it needs to be uninstalled.
I love the phrasing in the source material here. She doesn't send a protest letter, she starts building anti-gods.
The Gigantomachy. She births the Gigantes, the giants, and these are not just scaled-up humans. The sources describe them as massive beings with gleaming armor and long spears.
They were designed specifically to bypass Olympian defenses, the perfect soldiers to kill gods.
And there's this incredible detail about a cheat code she tried to find for them.
Yes, talk about that.
It shows how deep her knowledge goes. There was a prophecy that the giants could not be killed by gods alone. They needed a mortal's help.
A vulnerability in her design.
Right. But Gaia knew about a specific drug plant that would patch that vulnerability. It would prevent them from being destroyed by mortals either.
She was trying to hack the system to make her soldiers invincible.
She was, and Zeus was terrified. He actually had to order the sun and the moon to stop shining. He plunged the world into darkness just so he could find the drug before Gaia did.
That is the level of threat we are talking about.
Yeah.
The king of the gods had to turn off the lights to beat his grandmother to a plant.
Ultimately, Zeus wins that round with the help of Heracles, the mortal helper. The giants fall. But Gaia isn't done. She goes to her final option.
The nuclear option.
The final boss.
Typhon.
Or Typhoeus.
Right. If the giants were an army, Typhon is a cataclysm.
The descriptions of him in the texts are absolute nightmare fuel. This is not a man. This is not a god. No. He is born of Gaia and Tartarus, the pit itself. Hesiod describes him with 100 snake heads growing from his shoulders, fire flashing from his eyes, and the noise.
Oh, the sounds.
The sources are so specific about the audio. He made every kind of sound: bull roars, lion growls, puppy yelps, hissing, a cacophony of chaos.
He was the destroyer, and I think people forget how close he came to winning.
He nearly ended the Olympian reign right there. There are versions, particularly in Nonnus, where Typhon actually defeats Zeus in the first round. He steals Zeus's sinews.
Wait, let's pause there. He cuts the muscles out of his body?
He cuts out the sinews, the tendons that let you move, and he steals the lightning bolts. He literally disarms and disables the king.
Wow.
Leaves Zeus as a boneless, powerless sack on the floor of a cave.
That is a stunning image.
Yeah.
Gaia's monster standing over a crippled Zeus, holding the very weapons Gaia had given him in the first place.
It's so symbolic. Gaia gave the power and she sent Typhon to take it back. She showed she could recall the loan whenever she wanted.
Zeus eventually recovers, right? With help from Hermes.
Right, Hermes steals the sinews back. Zeus barely wins. He has to bury Typhon under Mount Etna in Sicily.
Which is why it erupts today, according to the myth.
It's Typhon, still down there fuming. The earth shakes because the challenger is still alive.
So let's look at the scoreboard. Uranus, gone. Cronus, gone. Zeus, almost gone.
She is a regime-toppler. It really changes how you view the hierarchy. We think of Zeus as the CEO of mythology, the one in charge.
But he's not.
No. If you look at this timeline, Zeus is just the current administration. Gaia is the board of directors.
And she can fire you.
She can absolutely fire you.
So what does this tell us about her character? We've called her a deep state operator, but what's her real motivation? Is she evil? Because sending a 100-headed snake monster to kill your grandson feels harsh.
I don't think evil is the right framework. She's beyond good and evil. She is loyal to two things: life and her own autonomy.
It's the mother of all title, taken to its logical extreme. If you hurt her kids, she hurts you, even if you are also her kid.
Exactly. She nurtures, but she also destroys. There's a great example in the notes about a titan named Psycheus. During the war, Zeus was pursuing him, about to kill him.
And what did Gaia do?
She didn't just fight back. She opened the ground, swallowed Psycheus, and transformed him into a fig tree to hide him.
She protects her own.
She preserves the line. She refuses to let her creations be wiped out. And she's also the source of knowledge. We mentioned the tactical briefings, but historically, she was the original owner of the Oracle of Delphi.
Right before Apollo took all the credit.
Long before Apollo. Delphi belonged to Gaia. She is the source of prophecy. She knows the future because, in a way, she is the future.
She knows the layout of the battlefield because she is the battlefield.
That's it, exactly. And that leads to the visual contrast in the sources. In Greek art, she's sometimes a buxom, matronly woman rising halfway out of the ground.
Right.
But in other contexts, she is the ground.
It's that duality that makes her so dangerous. She's a character you can talk to, who can hand you a sickle, But she's also the physical earth you're standing on. You literally can't escape her.
You live on her. You're born from her. She's the environment.
Which brings us back to that anime-inspired analysis. The idea of gods as operating systems.
It is a perfect metaphor for the modern age. Think of Gaia as the hardware, the earth itself, the server, the gods Uranus, Cronus, Zeus. They are the software.
The OS running the world for a specific era.
And if the OS gets buggy, or if it becomes tyrannical, or if it starts overheating the hardware.
She initiates a hard reset. She uninstalls the program.
And it is chilling. It makes the Titanomachy and the Gigantomachy feel less like wars and more like a system purge.
And it explains why she's so ruthless.
Yeah.
She isn't trying to win a crown. She doesn't want to sit on the throne on Mount Olympus.
No, she just wants the system to function. And if the king gets in the way of the system, the king has to go.
It really does strip Zeus of his main character energy.
Completely. Being well-informed on Greek myth means realizing Zeus is just the guy currently holding the conch shell. He's terrified of his grandmother for a reason.
You know she has the source code.
And she's still there. In the myths, she never dies. She isn't imprisoned. She just goes back to being the earth.
Waiting. Watching. So let's wrap this up with a final thought for our listeners. We've established Gaia is a regime-toppler who destroys industrial, oppressive machines that threaten her children.
Correct. She hates stagnation and she hates tyranny.
So, if Gaia is a personification of the earth, and historically she topples regimes that become too industrial, too oppressive, what would you think of us?
That is the big question, isn't it? If you look at the modern world industrialization, pollution, the way we treat the planet, it looks a lot like the tyranny she used to overthrow.
It looks like Uranus shoving children back into the earth. It looks like Zeus acting like a dictator.
Are we due for another Typhon? If the pattern holds, we might be provoking a response from the deep state that we are not ready for.
The hardware might be getting ready to reject the software again.
It just might.
On that terrifying note. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. Sleep tight.
Stay curious.